Hey, what is good? I'm Dr. Shawna, and I'm doing a quick tap in just to reacclimate to this online world. And the internet is hot, ablaze about mental health right now, and licensing and credentials and doctors and honorary doctors and da da da. But as someone whose handle is Dr. Shawna, I want to be clear who I am and what I do. I don't want any of that to be sort of mysterious. So let me be super clear up front. I have been in the field and a licensed mental health professional for 20 years. Now, what kind of mental health professional? The scope of practice for the diagnosis and assessment of individuals, families, and couples, as well as the treatment of any mental health conditions, falls under the scope of practice for psychiatrists, psychologists, psychiatric nurse practitioners, clinical social workers, marriage and family therapists, now if they have the diagnostic privilege, mental health counselors, again, if they have the diagnostic privilege. And who am I missing? Creative art therapists, I don't know if they have to have a diagnostic privilege or not. And depending on what state you're in, there are psychiatric PAs, physician assistants, and it is possible that someone, instead of being an MD, might be a DO. I think that's it. Well, yeah, I mean, there are mental health nurses and behavioral health nurses, but I'm not sure. So I don't want to speak on that, if they can diagnose and if they can treat for psychotherapy. Okay? But everybody else that I mentioned can, under the auspices that I mentioned. I chose the path of clinical social work. So I hold a Master of Social Work from New York University. I then obtained a licensed Master Social Worker credential. I then trained for an additional 3 years under clinical supervision, exclusively providing psychotherapy on a full-time basis. I think it was something like a minimum of 3,000 hours, and then taking a test to get my licensed clinical social worker license. I then continued for another 3 years, providing psychotherapy under supervision to get what at the time was called a LCSWR, Licensed Clinical Social Worker with a Registered Privilege, which is the highest credential in social work. I then went and obtained a Doctor of Social Work degree as a scholar practitioner, meaning teach, write, research, clinical practice, lead, program development, etc. And yeah, it's been a great ride. I've been at this for a long time. Now, along the way, I've done a host of trainings and certifications, which is normal. Many of us, in order to keep our licenses, we have to have continuing education credits documented. And a lot of our work includes peer supervision and group supervision. So I've worked in private practice, I've worked in inpatient psychiatry, I have worked in community mental health, both in Manhattan and then up in Westchester County. And yeah, that's that on that. I obtained my CASAC, Certified Alcohol and Substance Abuse Counselor license. I am certified in hypnotherapy, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, at this point in my career, I hope that what I offer inspires and empowers people to live healthy and well, right? To have great relationships, to feel empowered to navigate systems of oppression which do continue to exist, to be aware of self and race and identity and equity and good relational practice, good self-care, good awareness. And I hope that we heal, heal as a people, heal as a community. Now, anything that I ever say, think, do is still also informed by my spiritual perspective, right? It's still also informed by my lived experiences. Like, I can't pretend that those two things don't exist. So I've had amazing, healthy relationships, and I've had like not so good ones. I've, had my own lived experiences with trauma and, wellness and healing. And, spiritually, I had to find my way. I very much was spiritually curious. I've looked into lots of religious and spiritual perspectives and philosophy and what have you. And so I have found my way. And the combination of spirituality, mental health and wellness, and I continue to learn, is what allows me to heal and thrive in this world. So if I can be helpful to you, let me know how. I am not working with individuals and couples or families right now. That's not what I'm doing, but I am willing to be a resource for education. So if there are questions that you have or things that you want to understand about mental health, spirituality, wellness, addiction, also leadership, program management, there's lots of things that I think my career has allowed me to get good at, and I continue to learn. I'm in a program right now where I'm training on psychoanalysis and spirituality. I'm also training in a type of therapy for religious trauma. So I'm always learning and I'm always willing to share. So if I can be helpful, let me know. But yeah, degreed up, licensed up. I'm ordained. I've been ordained as a Christian minister twice, once at the Center for Holistic Living, and another with the United Divine Science Seminary. But today I do not identify as religious at all, and I don't identify in any particular religion. It's just me and love and Holy Spirit. So I hope we talk. I hope you comment. I hope you ask me stuff. So yeah, talk soon.